Purushara Pravala, Ya Pravastravita, Ya Vinavanadinda Mandira, Ya Shvira Padmasana, Ya Brahma Shankara Previdivi Deva Sada Pujita, Savam Padu Sarasvati Bhagavati, Nishesha Yadyapa, Shri Shivanandaya De Namaha, Shri Vishnu Devanandaya De Namaha, Om Sarva Mangala Mangalye, Shive Sarvartha Sarige, Om Shanti, 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. What's your name? Anybody else? Is you? No? No. These two guys. One guy there with it. Behind you? Jesus. Hi, what's your name?
Nicole.
Nicole.
Yeah.
From where?
U.S. America.
And how long you practice yoga?
3 days. Well, only Yana yoga.
You only do yana yoga? Whoa. All right. Okay. Anybody else? No? You're supposed to be 5 minutes, right? Which are down there. Someone will need a volunteer to go to the office and get something to write. Is it possible? Okay. So today we are on the 5th point of program, positive thinking and meditation. Okay? Now, let's say positive thinking. What does it mean, positive thinking? All the time wobbles, here, there goes everywhere. Now, how do you keep the mind steady? Okay, I'm a very nice guy. Okay? And on January 1st, I decided to be a wonderful guy. But January 2nd, I forget. Why? I have all the positive attitude, all the positive things, but January 2nd comes, I forget it. Or I cannot. Why? In this moment, it's very clear to me that to change myself or to stop smoking, and then, I'll do it tomorrow. Okay, so I'll do it later on. So it needs an implementation, a practical implementation. Besides having intellectually decided to be positive, but how are you going to be positive every single moment? Okay. Now you need something inside that face off the negativity that life comes in. And that's when yoga is very important. When you do yoga in the morning, you do something that's practically very, very positive. And that creates very strong grooves in the mind that keeps it up throughout the day. And also you do pranayama and do asana. That means, okay, I'm going to be nice, but how am I going to be nice? When the difficulties of practical life arises, how do you know how to tackle it? Then yoga say yes. In order to sustain a mental effort, you need a physical effort. Unless you're a great yogi, as you said in Jnana Yogi, then it's okay. You just think of something that will happen, doesn't matter what. But if you're not at that level, you have to sustain the mental thinking with something practical, otherwise the mind will cheat you. Okay? So positive thinking means practically how you're going to do to be positive every single day, not just January 1st. It's 365 days to put up with. So practically how you're going to do. That's when the asana, pranayama, meditation, it has every day reinforce. It is something to be cultivated. Something to be cultivated. As I told you before, I repeat for those who are new. Yoga, it takes you practically, not just theoretically, close to God. And we can call God goodness. That's why you feel good. not because something strange happened. Yoga says, okay, God is not something up in the sky somewhere. It's not in India, it's not somewhere in the holy places. God is within you. But we never always look outside. So when you do a good practice of yoga, it means, in a simplified manner, a goodness is there. Each time I practice yoga, I get closer to goodness, and that's why I felt good, because some of the goodness rubbed off on me. But then after a while, life has a tendency to take it away. So what to do? Tomorrow, again the same thing. The after tomorrow, again the same thing. So slowly, slowly, this goodness stays with me. And then reinforced by the asana, by the pranayama, by the meditation, chanting, a good quality of life. So it makes my life very, very positive. Slowly, all my actions, my thoughts, my deeds, they start to be really directed in a very positive way, which is quite different to what really you were a year, 2 years, 3 years ago. Because practically, that's the point, practically, you're doing something very, very positive. And that makes you feel good. And that's feeling good, it's the experience, practical experience tells you what I'm doing is right for me because I feel good, and I never felt good in my life before, so if I'm not stupid, excuse me the word, I keep doing it. I keep doing it. Okay. That's what some, so to speak, positive thinking is all about. It's not just the theory. Theory is very important. Somebody decides I'm going to be a nice person, it's fine. But then, practically every day of the year, how are you going to implement it? That's when yoga becomes a very powerful tool. And when you have a good meditation, so I feel good today, I feel wholesome, I feel balanced, I feel in control. Is it clear the point? It's very important to understand it. Otherwise, good intentions are not enough. Nobody goes to paradise or to hell through good intentions. Not enough. It's not enough. You have to, the action has to be supportive of your own decision. It doesn't matter what you do. In yoga, in your practical life, suppose I decide to be an architect and I never go to college, well, but I want to be an architect. And every day I get up and I say, I'm going to be an architect, I'm going to be an architect. I never go to college, I never practice, but you never be one. Okay? Or whatever we decided to do. Is that clear the point? Okay. That's very important. That's why you need physical, practical implementation. Because with the positive you also get what? The negative. Okay? What creates negativity in my mind?
The absence of positivity.
Thank you. That's for sure. But why? Why does it happen? That's the point. If you understand, why does it happen? Let's put it another way. Okay? In life, sometimes we have a problem. Okay? What causes the problem?
Desire.
Yes, that's number one. Desire is very important, is the source of everything. Why are we here? Because of desire. Why are we born? Because of desire. Why do we die? Because of desire. Why do we come back? Because of desire. If we could take desire, like that, and take a tooth here, up, throw it. Instant self-realization. But beside desires, okay, which is the root cause of it, root cause of it is desire. And there's no doubt about it. The number one enemy that we have is desire. Okay? Even desire for self-realization, even that has to be given up. The Bhagavad Gita is very clear. Yoga says, even the thought of God realization, even that has to be given up. Okay? I told you today, we have a problem because we don't see clearly at that time. So we don't find a solution. Don't find a solution becomes a problem. So why do you not see clearly at that time? What is that compels the mind not to see clearly at that particular time?
Emotion.
That's one thing. It's tremendous drainage in human being. But what is that makes a problem to be a problem?
We dwell on things. We think too much, perhaps. I don't know.
No, a good technique, I think, is to find out a good technique to solve a problem, okay, is to find out all the different elements in our own hands. You analyze them, okay, and still you don't have a problem. Now, this part of actually now yoga and Vedanta. You analyze all the elements. If it's at the end, you do not find a solution, instead of pushing it through, like unfortunately we do in the West, the best idea, if we have the mental culture to say, I let it go, I let it sink. Because what do we do with that? When you say, I let it go, means what? Now, how do you solve the problem? When you let it go, the mind relaxes. The mind relaxes, you might acquire more power of concentration. You might go back and find a solution. Or, you allow the intuition to do it. So, yoga says, okay, and I told you already it sounds very stupid. The best way to solve the problems is not to have problems at all. That sounds really stupid. Okay? But suppose you have 1,000 problems. You're not going to solve 1,000 problems. But if you take one problem, you focus on that problem. What's 7,999? They disappear. They find a solution with or without you. That's the secret. But we have no such a trick. The idea of the mind, the Western mind, is grasp it, control it, take over it, which is good. But as far as the mind can go. When the mind cannot go, then the east is better say, see, watch, relax, figure it out. If it's that way, there must be a reason. What do you want to change? What do you want to control? Supposedly right now, we want to conquer space. Fine, Jack, you can go and conquer space. Now, supposedly up there is a guy, smarter, clever, more powerful than we are, and he hears that we want to conquer him, then he's going to teach us a few lessons. He's going to break our neck and neck. But if we say, look, you know, maybe we'd like to integrate and figure it out, how you figure it out to get up there, then the guy must help us out. But our philosophy from since 2,000 years is to go and conquer, go and conquer, go and conquer. Why do we need to conquer? For which reason? Why do we want to conquer? Huh?
We want to control. Did you
Why do we want to control?
It gives energy.
Huh?
It gives energy.
Fear.
Insecurity.
Fear. That's amazing. We are afraid. Because he acts out of fear. Even though he looks cool, he acts out of fear, not out of courage. Courage is, why don't you let it be, have the physical, nervous, emotional strength not to change anything. Because when we are afraid, what we want to do? Boom! Go for it. Yeah, go for it means you're afraid. You don't have the inner capacity, the maturity, the emotional, nervous, intellectual maturity to say, look, you know, if this experience or world or nation or country or star or ET works that way, by God must be a reason, isn't it? Why do you want to impose my reason? Because say, hey, if he imposes his reason, I don't like it. Therefore, before he imposes my reason, I impose my reason. So we go over. It's immaturity, fear. But if I say, hey, why don't we sit on the table? So maybe I have something to teach you, but also maybe you have something to teach me. Why don't we sit together and learn something? That sounds better. It really means a lot. But we don't like the mentality. The mentality is go and conquer, go and conquer, go and conquer, go and conquer, until you find a bully stronger than you, that gives the lesson to your life. Then what are you going to do? Who are you going to play? So the idea would be the balance of it. Now going back to the problem, is we have problems because we do have a lack of concentration. That's why also there is a saying, the night always brings advice. Because you have a good sleep. You rest, the mind is more focused, the next day find the solution. So the problems do not exist, except the problems created by our own mind. As a matter of fact, as we say, what is a problem for you might not be a problem for me. What is a problem for me is not a problem for you. Why? There is a problem, it should be a problem for everybody. Some people laugh at it. So, another thing, don't think because you love, that's a mistake. Most of the time. If I love you, if I say I love you, what do I expect from you? That's right. And if you don't, I don't promise. And who am I going to blame? You know. That's how your mind is. That's how it is. I love you, therefore you have to love me. Hey, just a moment. It's one way street, not two ways. The other person agrees, so to speak. Life agrees, loving you. If he doesn't, what are you going to do? Going to blame the other person? You're going to blame life? Okay. So that is bhakti. Okay? Love, love, love. Okay, but we have to be careful. And to learn a little bit of discrimination, because unless you're very strong, whether they love you back or not, okay, it's fine. If you're not strong enough, say, hey, I love you, but why don't you love me? Bum, 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 but then you become worse than everybody else. Your name of love. So love has that difficulty. Okay? Now, the other one is thinking way. Thinking way is you have to figure it out. You have to figure it out, you have to squeeze the brain. You have to squeeze the brain like a lemon. And that's what Raja Yoga does. But before you squeeze the brain as a lemon, I want to say, that's the rules and regulation how you squeeze your brain. That becomes Raja Yoga. And that's what we want to talk today a little bit. Positive thinking and meditation, because meditation is Raja Yoga. As a matter of fact, in the West, when we say, I'm doing yoga, 99% we talk about Hatha Yoga. In India, when you say, I'm doing yoga, it's only meditation, Raja Yoga. It's understood. Like in the West, we understand asana, pranayama, etc. Here, when someone in Hindu says, I'm practicing yoga, it means it's practice meditation, and most of the time, Raja Yoga. Is that clear? Why? Because Raja Yoga gives you the clues how the mental factor works. Is that clear? Now, the most important clues that Raja Yoga gives about the mind is, what is the mind? Wait. Yeah.
I think it's the wall between ourselves and God.
100%. That's the principle of Raja Yoga.
And
Raja Yoga says, yes.
and yoga is the technique to break down the wall, to get
Raja Yoga, correct, 100%. Very good. That's the principle. The principle is correct. But the scripture says, God is everywhere. Fine. God is omnipresent, omnipotent, omniscient. Fine. Means God is here right now? So yeah. Not there. Not there. Maybe there. I don't see him. Yet everybody keeps telling me it's him. Now what is it? So what's preventing me to see God? The mind. That's what Raja said. Since the mind is the major obstacles between me and God, then let's figure out what the mind is. Once I know what the mind is, I can control it. Once I control the mind, I can see. This is the principle of Raja. Therefore, they have a thorough, complete, exhaustive study on the function of the mind. And the first question they ask themselves, since the mind is the major culprit, now what is the mind? That's my question. What is the mind? Because the mind is the major obstacles between me and God. But when you ask people, what is the mind? You ask such a stupid question, come on. The mind forget it, what do you want to do? Raja Yoga said, no, very scientific. It's the mind that creates me the problem, and unless I figure it out, there's no way for me to find out. Now, Bhakti Yoga said, okay, God, love, 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 love. But Raja Yoga said, no. I want to sit.
I think for this question, what is the mind, there is no perfect answer. I think there is no absolutely right answer.
Why?
Because everybody would explain it in a different way, because it's something, you can't touch it, you can't see it, it's...
You sure?
Mind is a collection of conceptions.
The problem is that you're asking the mind to define itself, and it's within itself.
It is possible.
Cannot be objective about itself.
Whatever.
Thinking.
Now, it sounds stupid, isn't it? But you ask, supposedly, you take a dean of a college or psychiatrist, psychology, of philosophy. He asks the same question. Do you think that he will be able to answer you? What do you think? Or you go to Stephen Hawkins. You know what Stephen Hawkins is? Huh? He's a genius. You go, hey Steve, can you tell me what's the mind? Do you think he's going to answer you? That the mind is something very foggy, very cloudy. Why? What has to be there? The fact is that east and west most of the time, you do not know what the mind is. And yet thankfully, throughout the centuries and millennia, let's take the eastern one because it's a little bit older than the west. In 2,000 years of history, civilization, I'm sure starting from the Greek or the Egyptians and the Mesopotamians, there must have been good people, highly intelligent, highly qualified, and highly motivated people to find out what the human mind is, isn't it? The problem is not born now. It's born 2,000 years ago. The fact is, they couldn't figure it out. Why? As a matter of fact, in any given Western language, make it a point of it, we do not have enough words, precise words, to define what the mind is, because we don't know what the mind is. As a matter of fact, she said the mind is eternal. She said the mind is foggy. Someone else might tell me something else. The fact is, if I ask you 2 plus 2, east and west, north and south, everybody will agree, say 2 plus 2 is 4. Whereas in Japan or South America or South Africa or England, 2 plus 2 is 4. If you ask them what the mind is, everybody gives his or her opinion, which is okay, no problem about it. But the fact is, this is science. No. It's just an opinion. But if I say 2 plus 2, it is science, because I can demonstrate to you that 2 plus 2 makes 4. But if someone asks you, what is the mind? Well, the mind is the intellect, or maybe the memory. Let me think. This is not science. This is not knowledge. This is, I don't know what to call it, okay? Supposedly, that right now, an old vintage airplane, a DC-3. DC-3 was the workhorse of the Second World War, okay? And it flies around here. You say, hey, this is a Second World War airplane. Can you tell me how many blades are there? What are you going to say? Why do you see an airplane, an aircraft, fly? You know, the aircraft, since 1935, is a propeller aircraft. Okay? Also by the sound we tell is a propeller aircraft. So my question is, when you see the airplane going by, so what is the highest the mind from us since 2,000 years? The speed of the mind. Called the speed of the mind. Therefore, each time that someone tried to go inside and to look at the mind, what do you see? That guy. That's all. Nothing is there. Why? Because the mind hides itself behind its own very speed. That's why. Simple. That's why nobody knows. Okay? Because in all honesty, hey Jody, welcome back. How are you? Looking forward. So each time that someone honestly will try to do something about it, has had all the time the same problem. And the problem is, the mind is two, and it's east and west and north and south. Any race, any country, any person cannot find out, because the answer all the time is the same. Each time you look inside, what do you see? Nothing. Why? The mind is too fast. So what our psychologists and psychiatrists started to do? Start to look where? Outside. And we call this science. As a matter of fact, suppose there was a lady down to the village, and she was kneeling on the hut. There was no electricity, nothing. So she dropped the needle. She started looking for a while. She can't see. The hut is so dark. So she started to go outside. She started to look outside. And someone comes by and says, what are you doing? So I'm looking for my needle. Oh, said, where did you drop? are dropped inside the hut. And why are you looking outside? Well, there's no electricity inside. That's how psychiatrists and psychologists they look at us from where? From the outside. How can you know about the mind? How can you know about the mind? If you have a little bit of common sense and a lot of experience, you can get close to find out what the mind is. But you shall never know what my inner nature is unless you become it. Then you become a real psychiatrist. But the fact is that each time they try, they have the same problem common to mankind, to all mankind, past, present, and I pray not in the future. And the fact is that the mind hides itself behind its own very speed. Exactly the propeller of a plane, or exactly like a fan, and it goes so fast and you say, is there any plane? I don't see nothing there, not even let's forget it. But directly proportional. So if Raj Yoga could be taught in the school and colleges of the world, then we really know what the mind is all. And I'm sure that any science, in any endeavor or scientific investigation, will be a gigantic jump forward once we know what the mind is. Because right now, we have no idea. You know what? This is a little blunt. Okay? It might hurt you, some of your scientific background. Okay? But just to tell you how brutal can be the truth. Okay? Who creates science? How do we call the people? Chachi. Chachi, good show. Take that on the board. Take chat. What do we call the people that do study science? How do we call the people that study, investigate science? How do we call them? General term. The person that investigates science. How do we call them?
Scientists.
Scientists, right? The Greek simple. Now, what does a scientist uses in order to investigate science? The mind. Agree? That's the blunt stuff. Don't take it emotionally, okay? Now, how is it possible to create something called science if the very instrument the scientist uses to create science, this instrument is called the mind, of which we know nothing about it, how can he create something called science? You really bunch of children in front of the mirror and say, hey, look at me, I am. Look, oh, such a good guy. And we give ourselves a Nobel Prize. The guy that gets the Nobel Prize, you can ask him, what do you know about the mind? Suppose that I want an ice cream. Fine. Where does the thought come from? Who put it there? And it goes away. Another thought comes in, another thought comes in. Can I do something about it? Do you know what's going on in my mind? I have no idea. Yet, when I use this mind, which I know nothing about it, I create something called science. How's it possible? I call myself scientific. This is the greatest wonder of the 21st century. We create science with an instrument of which we don't know nothing about it, and we pretend to be scientific. But since they know that nobody knows, so they sell us with a package deal called Nobel Prize. And we go for it. Because we don't know. So why do you say one person is more emotional, another person is less emotional?
One expresses it more.
So it means somehow, consciously or subconsciously, some of us learn how to control the emotions. Therefore it looks that you have less emotion. But actually, emotions are the same for everybody. But the point is, we don't know what triggers an emotion. What is an emotion?
Desire triggers them.
Yeah, everything is desire. Let me say from the beginning. No doubt about it. But being very willing to touch the point of the eyes. I want to know. That's it. Point it out. What is it? You know. And yet we go through life, through emotions, and through intellect, and we have no idea. And some of us with PhD in our own pockets, we think, oh my God, no. we call it self-centered. Raja will say, it's okay, it's no problem. Okay? It's an old story. The fact is that if we would know, then we'll have a beautiful car, a fantastic driver on the right direction. Right now we have fantastic drivers, fantastic cars going on the wrong direction. We call this science. Therefore, we don't know what the common cold is. Therefore, we cannot solve the problem of poverty or the problems of life. Kind of something. There's nothing wrong again with science. If science had a proper direction, then, I said before, it would be a real quantum leap forward for all mankind. If we know what we are doing. Because right now, as I told you before, we do and pray that we'll have the golden age on the 21st century, but nobody tells me how we're going to get it. Because as far as I know, in the last 20th century, we never got it. Now how are we going to get it in the 21st century? Just because it's called 21st century? The mind is the mind. There's been the same stupid mind for the last 20,000 years, so it's not going to be better on the 21st because it's going to be the same thing. Right? So what is the solution? And that's a Raja Yoga becomes an important repeatedly. It is practicality. To figure it out yourself, you have to practice yourself. Theory is not enough. Theory can only take you a certain level. After that, unless you put your boots on, roll up your sleeve and do the job, there's no way you can figure out certain things in life. But yoga has the answer. There's no doubt. Okay? Now, how does mind works? Got a problem. When you kind you're going to ask for a spray, alcohol, mouth. I said before, Raja Yoga said, you got a problem. Problem is the mind. The mind is preventing us to see God, so as long as the mind is there, we've got a problem. So, let's identify what the mind is. Okay? Let's identify what the mind is. So they're very gullible, they want new emotions. So let's go to facts and feelings. Okay? So they call it the inner instrument. The instrument to which we connect with the external. So it's called antakarana. You can put it in English as mental faculties. 3 brains. This inner instrument has, what we call mind, what you call mind, has 4 instruments, or 4 blades, or 4 pieces, whatever you want to call it, okay? Or 4 elements, okay? Not bad, is that? All right. So, like, okay, called manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. These are the 4 blades, or the 4 components of the human mind. Okay? Manas, buddhi, chitta, ahankara. That's Sanskrit. And Sanskrit has the proper semantic to describe the mind. It doesn't put generally mind and means what? No. As a matter of fact, the word manas in Sanskrit is the origin of the word mind, or mentis in Latin, or mental in French. The origin is Sanskrit root is manas, mind. Okay? The second is called buddhi, which is equal to the intellect, capacity of analysis, and doubt. It's the second element composing the mind. The third is called chitta, which means subconscious mind and memory, and instinct. The fourth one is the most stupid one, it's called the ego. Absolutely ignorant, absolutely there's nothing. Whatever the 3 elements, whatever manas, buddhi, chitta, tell the ego, the ahankara. The ego says, oh yes, I know everything. Oh yes, I know nothing. Okay? It is the ahankara. So again now, I'll try to put it into English. Good tries. Thanks. Elbow oil. What we think is the proper system. All right. So manas is mind, intellect, analysis, doubt. 2. 3. Subconscious memory, feelings, etc., etc. 4. Ego. These 3, all the time, these 4 elements are the basic components of the human mind. Now, how do they work? Take number 1, manas. Okay? Manas is like a military radar. You know what a radar is? What is a radar? Nobody knows what the radar is? Radar. Yeah, well, what is it?
Senses something.
Electromagnetic detector.
As a matter of fact, electromagnetic waves is there. It goes outside, picks up an object, and it brings it back. That's what a radar is all about. And the time it takes from the waves, the time it takes the waves to go from here to there and come back. It determines the object, the speed, the size of the object, isn't it? So this is the first function of the mind. The mind sends out the 5 senses, picks up the external world, then brings it inside. We call this reality. But what kind of reality can it be if the eyesight only sees 7 colors? What kind of reality can it be if the ear drums can only hear 7 sounds? What kind of reality can it be if it's a dog or an eagle, is a better sense of smell or sight of the human being? Yet we call this very strongly the real world now. The silent religion say, keep quiet and fast. Every religion, keep quiet and fast. Because in keeping quiet and fasting, my mind comes and throwing a monkey wrench into the mind. Every religion in the world, what the convents and monasteries and the desert father and whatever do, keep quiet, live alone, fast and pray. Through that, you slow down the mind. You slow down the mind stops. The mind stops, you see God. And God says, look, son, I've been waiting for you. You know since how long? Since eternity. Why don't you see me life after life after life after life after life? It was a stupid machine called the human mind, of which we are scientifically so proud of. That's what does the trick. You stop. As a matter of fact, how do I get immortal? Immortality. Stop the stupid mind. Time stops, space stops, everything stops. You become immortal. And I can even stop, you know what? You know what do I stop? I stop even life.